What's good, B-Sounds? It's your boy, Kit Kinraid. Today, we're going to try and MacGyver some sort of log run log slash battle log slash tyre log out of this here tyre and these battle ropes. So I think the basic plan is to drill 4 holes through the tyre and then make 2 sections of rope that will either go across it or like in and out the same side. I think it might actually break my heart to drill a hole through this. The very first video on this channel was a tyre workout with this tyre. This was the first bit of serious equipment that we accumulated. Cones and then this. Yeah, my heart. So we're gonna find the widest point of the tyre by making a mark and then seeing what the furthest distance away from this mark is, and then we'll have exactly halfway around the tyre, and then we'll bisect that line, bisect it to get the other 2. Looks like it's there, which is convenient because there's a little mark on it anyway. Oh, and there's a mark here too. Did I accidentally just... My tyre has markings. To drill a hole in your tyre, you're gonna want a pretty manly drill and a hole saw set. I know this one's manly because this is the one that gave me an extra hole in my face. So manly drill covered. You want a hole saw set that goes up to the size of your rope. I guess you want it to be pretty close because if it's sloshing about, it's more likely to cause tears and stuff. I mean, that'd do it. 44 mil. The hole saw goes in the drill chuck. The drill chuck goes in the SDS plus slot sockety thingy. Hey, man, don't mess around with this stuff unless you're wearing PPE, okay? Or you'll get extra face holes. Nobody wants that. I'm sorry, tyre. Great. Smell of burning rubber is disgusting. Wear a mask. Wear a better mask. Wow, there's like a puck of scum. Better get that puck out. Get the puck out of here. Rubber and cable. So it's pretty gnarly to get through and it honks. 4 holes finally drilled. It took forever. Things I've learned. Definitely cover your skin up because it is gonna spit burning hot rubber and metal sparks, and it's not smart to not be dressed appropriately. I don't think I could have done it with a less powerful drill. When you get a certain amount in, you're gonna want to hope that that yuck puck comes out in your hole saw and that you can gouge it out. Otherwise, you have to dig in with a screwdriver, which is gonna become pretty disgusting, and cut that out, basically, because otherwise your hole saw is just going to be full of rubber and not be able to get any further. I would say that if you don't want to put an extra hole in your face, which I cannot recommend, as you're leaning into it, make sure the drill's resting on you or something that's not going to rotate, because if it gets caught up, and it is going to get caught up on those internal metal cables, it's going to want to turn the drill and not the drill bit. Let's move on to the rope. The tyre's roughly 120 wide, and then the hole is in the center of the tyre, which is 20 centimeters away from the edge. So I think 40 centimeters up from there. I don't want it to be too long because I want it dragging on the floor, but I don't want it to be too short because you're not going to want to be so close to it. So 40 centimeters plus 20 centimeters plus 120 is 240 centimeters is the length of each bit of rope. Now I'm hoping, I'm not convinced, but I'm hoping that drilling holes in the tyre was the worst, hardest part. This is just cutting a rope and then making sure it doesn't fray again. How hard can that be? Cool. I assume you already know how to nay-nay, so allow me to teach you how to whip. This is whipping twine. It's essentially a waxed cotton. We want to go the diameter of the rope and a half in length. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a loop here that you can cover with your whipping. Then you hold that down. You're going to wrap around over, holding that with your thumb. Get a bit of tension on it so it sticks. You want to keep tension on it the whole time. You want to kind of lay the twine over the last pass. I know everything's black and it's a nightmare for you to see. And you keep laying it next to it, building out, keeping the tension on. I am not a good whippist. And then you put the loose end through the loop that you created at the start, and then you pull the other side to move that loop and the bit that joins it to in between the 2 points. And apparently you can cut it and it just stays there. You can cut it like whoop, or you can cut it like whoop. I'm going to cover this side in tape. This side is going to be for another thing, another time. I'm going to cover this very last bit in tape so I don't mess with my whipping. It's probably a good reason I shouldn't do that. If there is, let me know. And then I'm going to go through it with these tree loppers. Let's melt this end. I burnt straight through my whipping twine, so don't do that. Perhaps if you're going to do this, put your shrink wrap on before you whip it. So here's what we've ended up with. It's melted closed. I don't think it's going anywhere. If you're in the States, you can get Plastidip. Plastidip is basically liquid rubber. So you put it in, you let it dry, you put it in, you let it dry, you put it in, you let it dry. And then you've got basically, what they'll have done for this. So we've drilled holes in the tyres. We've made 2 short lengths of rope, which are hopefully ruddy, bloody identical. They certainly are. Now we have to deal with the metal in the tyre. I'm gonna go buy a tool. Hi guys, welcome to my Wix shopping haul. I only got one thing today. It's these side cutters. There was no price on them, but I get 10% off, so I thought YOLO. Anyway, I bought them. Turned out to be £8.10, which I thought was a pretty good price if they're flush cut, but they ain't flush cut because Wix is garbage. Anyway, that's all I've got time for today, guys. So don't forget to use my promo code in the below So after we got these yuck pucks out, what we're left with is all these little wires in the hole. So what I'm hoping is we can side cut around them and then maybe seal them in with epoxy. Why not? We got that to hand. Let's see how it goes. These are doing nothing. These are the worst cutters I've ever seen. Bloody garbage. I hate Wix. All right, so this is going to take forever, so leave me to it. If I have a better idea, I'll let you know. It's the future, and I've had several better ideas. The first one of those was returning those pliers to Wix because they suck. My second good idea was I have bought some of these 40mm solvent weld pipe joiners. The solvent weld ones have a slightly thicker diameter, so I think the pipe that goes in it is 40mm, and this is going to be about 44mm, which is the hole that I drilled. While I was buying it, I saw that they did like a rubber boss, but it needed like a 50mm hole, which I'm not doing that again. The problem with these is they have a little collar, so you push a pipe in from both ends and they stop at that collar. So I need to MacGyver something to get that out. A Dremel will be perfect. I don't have a Dremel yet, but it is on the way. I decided to buy one. I've wanted one for years and I thought, heck it. So we've got to MacGyver something to get those out. We'll probably cover it in contact cement or something and then knock it in. Job's a good one. Solution MacGyvered. So I have here a cordless electric drill. Obviously you can see that with your eyes. And I looked for like a round file or something, screw doing it by hand. I didn't have any round files, but I did have this tapping bit. So whacked this tapping bit on there, and then if you it comes out great. Not sure if I mentioned why we're actually taking these collars out. We're taking the collars out because with the collar, it don't go through, but without the collar, it sits on just fine. Right on cue, a wild Dremel has appeared. My philosophy of buying tools is I buy the cheapest one that doesn't look garbage, and then I use it, and then when it dies, I think, is having another one of those going to improve my life? Was the problem with the tool about its quality? And if it's improved my life, then I'll buy a good one that's gonna last, and if not, probably buy another cheap one next time I need one. I'm gassed, let's go. Oh my God, it reminds me I've got the dentist on Monday. I'm gonna do this hole before I clean the rest. If I clean the rest and find out that I actually do have to drill a bigger hole, or this isn't the final solution, I'll be mad. Oh dear, I'm not sure it's gonna work.
Arse it. My panic is unjustified, everything's fine. So I used the Dremel to get all these little bits of wire out as much as possible. Best method I found was cutting until you can get the Dremel through the whole lot and then coming back at an angle. What I've learned about using a Dremel is you let the tool do the job. There's always a temptation when you have some muscle to try and use that muscle to make a thing work faster, but it's just not going to happen. It's not going to help. Not every solution is fixed by muscles. Hard to believe, I know. And then I use the grinding stone on the Dremel to smooth these edges as much as possible. Great news, I got one of those collars in and I put no adhesive on and I couldn't get it out if you paid me. It took me quite some time with a hammer to get it in there. So great. This full thing is about 2.5 inches. I cut about an inch off. This tire wall is about 1 inch thick. There's a bit sticking up on the other side, but the rubber's kind of puckered up around it, so I'm not too worried about it. I wouldn't want a long bit. I don't want anything sticking out this side because I want to be able to roll the tire, and I don't want anything sticking out that side because I don't want any pressure on this collar to come out and then the rope gets stuck or knackered. I'm probably just going to put the next one in and then chop the top off. Does that seem like a good idea? As good as idea as any, right? I don't know. We'll make it up as we go along. Hey! It's got to really give it a stern talking to. It's going. I have... I'm going to try again another day. Well, it's been a while because it took a while to figure out what the best way of doing this was, and I was really trying not to buy a new reciprocating saw, but I had to buy a new reciprocating saw, so I bought a new reciprocating saw. But here's where we're at. I had to take a reciprocating saw and just cut a little bit this side, a little bit this side, so that the tight weave of metal would give a bit. 2 of these went real easy. I just cut one slice on either side, and one of them looks like a cat's arsehole. Then I whacked the coupler through, and I used the Dremel to take off any sharp edges, and I thought I might have to contact cement it, but I did not. It's just been absolutely fine. These short runs of battle rope that we made, one of them's got the original end, and the original end goes through fine. And on the other, I just took a Stanley blade, sort of sharpened it, and then took that flamethrower and remelted that all down, and that runs through there just fine also. This thing sucks. It is heavy. I did not realize that it would be so heavy divided by 4 people. I know it's awkward, but I was expecting it to be much lighter. It's rough, but it's a really great rough. This project, if you have all the tools, is great. I recommend it because you still got a tire that you can flip. It weighs, you know, maybe 30 grams less than it did before we started, but you can get a whole lot more out of it. You could tie a longer battle rope through the holes and use it for dragging. You can put it in the center of a rope for a weighted tug-o-war. We had a team of 5 on it yesterday, and we put somebody sat in the tire, so whoever taps out sits in the tire and swaps out with that person that's being carried. It's wicked. It's really great. It's super cheap and well worth it. These couplers were like 90 pence. That long bit of what's it called, that long bit of shrink wrap was less than a £5. If you've got the tools, worth doing. If you haven't got the tools, be prepared to buy some tools, because these are not designed for getting through. Definitely wear a mask because it honks. It's an unbelievably heavy bit of awkward weight, and if that sounds fun to you, it's not that difficult to do as long as you avoid all the mistakes I made. As far as these goes, I probably wouldn't even bother with the whipping that we did. I think melting and using a big old piece of shrink wrap seems to have worked absolutely fine. This does not feel like it's going anywhere. It's not started fraying at all. If I was doing it again, I would possibly go for those rubber gaskets that I saw at Wickes and bore a bigger hole, but the bigger hole you do, the more difficult it's going to be to get through. And even with my enormous drill, this was a challenge. But if you've got a decent hole saw set and not the cheapest one that Amazon will supply you, you'll probably be all right. Anyway, friends, give this a go if you fancy it. I've got more DIY type fitness things coming up. My brain has been churning through problems and solutions, and now that the weather is pleasant, a couple of days in the garden building things that makes life easier to make life harder. That sounds like fun. Maybe they will be more applicable to more people than this very weird specific use case, but if you want this very weird specific use case, I highly recommend it. This thing sucks. Give this a go if you've got the gear. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you see this and think, I'd have done that differently. Or if you see this and think, I know what I'd do with that. I want to know those things. And as always, my friends, get them gains. Be well. I am just pleased that it will bring a new level of suffering to people who are already afraid of this tyre. So it's good. It's good.